And
Thank
actually,
you.
what I'm going to do is, as you can see my screen, I left it blank. I want you to go ahead, any one of you, and ask me any question that you might have first. So I will begin with that because last class I left the questions at the end, and then I felt like a few people had questions, but we didn't have enough time. So I want to begin today's workshop with just leaving it open for you. I want you guys to ask me any question that over the week you have seen over on the workshop, or from before, or not from the workshop, just elsewhere, and let me know what's in your head, like some specific question that anyone might have. So feel free to unmute and ask me. Nobody has any question. How can I believe that?
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. I
Yes.
have a question.
Okay.
That sometime in spoken English or in written English, it is difficult to differentiate between present perfect tense and past indefinite tense. So how can we use them accordingly or properly?
Excellent. So present perfect, and I'll call it simple past. One thing you have to keep in mind when we use the word sometime, it's always in plural. It's always sometimes. You never say sometime. Okay? It's always sometimes. You have to put the S. To differentiate between present perfect and simple past. Now, we need to quickly see what is, we need to quickly see what are the two tenses, right? So, so when we speak about the past, we can use many tenses, but these are the two specific tenses that we have trouble with because these are the differentiating differences, complicated differences that we have. So one that we have is that past simple or simple past, and one is the present perfect. Now, first we need to know what is each used for, right? So when we talk about the simple past, the key difference between the two, the key difference is mention of time when something happened and no mention of time when something happened. These are the main key differences. Okay. Now, when we talk about
Excuse me, Miss
yes,
Siddiqa.
yes, Khadija.
Maybe Mr. Johnny's speaker is unmute कर दें उनको.
Oh, so you want to say, could you please mute yourself? Like that. Excellent. Could you please, the expression we want to say is, could you please mute yourself? That's the expression. See, when you come onto a workshop, then you can learn these different expressions that normally the नहीं आता. Like I have to ask this question. So I'm very happy that you guys are all here. So when mention of time, I mean by we don't talk about when, oh no, we do in this case, sorry. We do talk about when something happened in the past. So we use keywords like, stop highlighting. We use keywords like yesterday, last night, 2019, February. Any time that is in the past. We mention time in the past when we use simple past. When we talk about the present perfect, we don't mention when something happened. We focus on what happened. not when it happened. So here we focus on when, but here we focus on what. So that is the first and the most important key difference between the two. Now, so why do we use the present perfect about the past if we're not mentioning when something happened? Because we're kind of starting off a story in black and white. So present perfect is your black and white story. And simple past is your color story. In English, we tend to use more black and white stories. We don't focus on the time of something that happened. We focus more on the action. We talk more about the actual event, not when it happened. Unless that action has completely finished and we do not need any, it's not really continuing. It's not really a part of our life anymore. So the key words we have here, key words for present perfect are since, ever, just, recently, yet, already. These are words that are they're very black and white, right? So if I tell you something like, I have just recently had a cup of tea, that means you don't really know when I had a cup of tea, because that's not what I'm telling you. The focus is on I had a cup of tea. So for example, if I say I've just had a cup of tea, the focus is having the cup of tea. It's not about what time I had the cup of tea. In English, it would be very weird to say I had a cup of tea, because my question would be, wonderful, I didn't ask. Like, you're giving me a very specific information. You're adding color to my page without even making a drawing. Present perfect is that black and white drawing that you make on a piece of paper. Then you add the color, right? So you don't really add the color, then draw around it. So that's why it's really in English. And now the thing is that you're lucky if anyone here, I think everyone here speaks Urdu. If you speak Urdu, you're very lucky, because a lot of languages don't have present perfect, but Urdu actually has a version of present perfect. So, of course, my Urdu is awful. I couldn't really explain to you how it works in Urdu, but when we translate in simple Urdu, it absolutely works in a lot of cases. Now, another thing that with present perfect that's very, very important is the idea of in life, in my life, in your life, in anyone's life, whoever we're talking about, right? If you are alive, then your story isn't over. And this is in terms of experience, right? So for example, if I ask you, have you ever visited China? This means the question I'm asking you is in your life until now. I wouldn't ask you, did you visit China? Because then you could ask me, when? It's like, आप कभी China गए हो? Or आप China गए थे? If I ask you, आप China गए थे, it's past simple. And even in Urdu, it's like, मैंने जाना था? Like, did I have to go? Like, why are you asking me such a specific question? But if I'm just asking you in general, in your life, आप कभी China गए हो? And that is present perfect, because I'm not assuming that you went. I'm not saying that your life is over and if agar nahi gaye to ab to kabhi nahi ja sakte. I'm not saying that either, right? I'm just asking you, in your life, at the moment I'm speaking right now, right? September 23rd, at this moment that I'm speaking, before this moment in your life, ye kiya hai, not kiya tha. Kiya tha would be for someone who's dead now, right? So if you tell me that my grandfather died, I would say, did he go to China? Because, now his story is over. So now he really can't go to China. So this would be more like a done deal, right? Can't go anymore. But have you ever visited China? Have you ever been to China? I'm going to say this. Have you visited, been to in your life, right? And if you haven't, maybe you still can go. This box that I have over here, okay, this box that I'm going to put in blue is very important. This blue box is the core meaning of present perfect. Present perfect has many meanings. This is not the only meaning, but this is one of the most important and core meanings. If you understand the blue box, then when you are speaking, you don't make that mistake. Now, since, when we use the word since, I'm just going to go over these words quickly for you. Since is used from the start time. Can't type and talk. Right? So, for example, I have been teaching, or I have taught. They're both present perfect. One is present perfect continuous. Doesn't matter which one you use. They are absolutely the same. I have taught English. I cannot type English since 1999. I'm giving you the start date from that time. Have I finished teaching English? No. This means that I started at this time, and right now, and I'm speaking to you, September 23rd, I'm still teaching English, and if I'm alive tomorrow, I will continue to teach English. It's not over yet, right? So ever basically means in your life, right? So that basically means ever. Like when you say happily ever after for the rest of their lives. So ever always means in your life, right? And ever is never used in affirmative sentences. Never say never. Almost never used in affirmative sentences. We use them in questions. For example, have you ever, right? I haven't ever in a negative sentence, or we can use never. Anyways, that's just vocabulary, right? So we got since, we got ever. Just is abi, but not when, right? It's just abi. And recently is also bas abi. Even in Urdu, when you say bas abi kiya, when abi kiya, ek minute pehle, ya ek din pehle, ya ek hafta pehle. It's really vague, right? So it's very black and white. It's very vague. Not because you're trying to be suspicious, but that's just the normal way of saying it. In Urdu, if I ask you, have you done your homework? You can say, yeah, abhi kiya. Now, if I really need to know, I will ask you, kab kiya, and now you have to give me an answer. But it's perfectly normal to just say, yeah, abhi kiya. Because the kiya hai is more important than abhi ya when. And I hope that's making sense. And then we have yet and already. Yet is used not until now, but it might happen. I haven't visited China yet, which means abhi tak, I haven't visited China, but maybe I'll go. It is, this gives you an idea that I want to go, like in abhi tak, I haven't been to China. So this is like that abhi tak kind of idea, right? I'm going to put that over here because, since everyone here does speak Urdu, not never. Already is the opposite of yet, right? So this is kind of like, I have already been to China. Ye ho chuka hai. So I'm putting, I don't, as I think most of you know in here, anyone who, I think most of you know me in here, I don't like to use Urdu in English class, but present perfect is the only verb tense when I teach in which I feel so happy that I can actually use Urdu, because when I teach other students who speak Spanish or French, most of my students that I teach are French speakers. And can you imagine that you find present perfect difficult and you already have it in Urdu? French don't even have it in French. There's no way to translate present perfect in French. And that is so frustrating. So you do have that little extra thing. All you have to do is kind of memorize the translative meanings and look at the blue box. And this is the absolute, this is just the 101. This is the summary of using present perfect. A simple past, I didn't really go into that much, because really simple past is it's done yesterday. Yesterday is finished, right? Last night is finished. 2019 is history. February is also finished. So something that happened, it's done. It's not black and white. It's not vague. I'm not going to leave it vague. I'm going to be clear with it. So, for example, I finished that movie last night. Movie is finished. Last night is finished. It's not really connected. It's not really that vague thing. Everything is just it's very colored. It's very, it's done and dusted, right? I saw him in June, right? June is done, and that meeting of my seeing him is also done. So this is what I have to tell you about present perfect. This does not mean that you have no questions. So please, without being shy, tell me what more can I answer about present perfect? Because I know that present perfect is a difficult verb tense. So Junaid, this was your question, so I will let you start. Let me know, is this clear? Where should I make it more clear?
Yeah, ma'am, it is clear, but I want to put two examples here. One, the first sentence is that I have resigned from my position as a teacher yesterday.
And what's your second sentence?
And the second one is I resigned from my position as a teacher yesterday. So in this case, the first sentence will be wrong and the second one will be right.
Exactly. And why is the first one wrong, Junaid? Why is it wrong?
Because there is a specific time.
You put the word yesterday. Exactly.
Yes, because of yesterday.
Exactly. But if you don't put yesterday and you don't want to talk about, it's not important when you resigned, it's important that you resigned, right? So then you will just say, I have resigned from the position. That's it. And this is also correct. This is correct.
Okay,
and this is correct. These both are correct, because the first one, you want to be very specific that you did not resign from your position 10 days ago, you resigned yesterday. And the second one, the focus is I resigned. So I have resigned from the position. It's not really, and now which one is better between the two happy faces? Doesn't matter. Sometimes you need to mention the time. And if you need to mention the time, you use a simple past. And sometimes you don't need to mention the time. And if you don't need to mention the time, you use present perfect. As long as you're using them correctly, it doesn't make present perfect better than simple past or vice versa. It's just, if you need to say when, then you cannot use present perfect. And if you need to say when, then you have to use simple past. That's basically the thing. And you're absolutely correct. Excellent example. Does anyone else have any question regarding this? Present perfect, simple past, the keywords I've mentioned, the blue box that I've mentioned.
Please, Miss, can you describe about blue box?
The blue box? Okay. So the blue box, you see the idea that it's in life. Okay? So for example, it's a very extreme example, but if you're alive or if you're still in any given situation, then it's really not, your story isn't finished, right? So you're talking about experience. When you talk about experience, right? I have whatever experience you've had, I've met such lovely people in this workshop, right? I'm not going to say I met. Why? Because one, the workshop is not finished. Number two, I'm talking about them right now, and most of them are over here right now. So it's like, it's a very bad example, but like the Shah Rukh Khan sentence, if anyone watches Shah Rukh Khan, like so film abhi baki hai mere dost, right? That entire idea really works over here, and I cannot believe I give that example, but you get the idea. Like, it's not over yet, right? The workshop isn't over yet. I'm going to use, I have met such lovely people, but let's say that the workshop is finished. We're not going to have any more workshops, right? No more workshops. I will say I met such lovely people in that workshop, right? Because this tells me that the workshop is finished. There will be no more workshops. You see, there's
Okay,
a
I
big
got
difference
it.
between the two, right? But if I say I have met such lovely people in this workshop, that means the workshop isn't over. We're still going to have more workshops. And this one, no more workshops. So maybe in your last job, you met some good people, right? So I could say I met, forget met, let's put something else. I had a great time in Saudi this summer. My trip is finished and summer is finished. I cannot use present perfect because both of those times are finished, right? Because the summer, this here, summer, finished. The great time, meaning my trip, finished. So it's finished. If both things are finished, then I cannot use present perfect, right? It's not still happening. Maybe it will happen again another time in the future, but that's not the story. That's not the point, right? But let's say that if you ask me, was it your first time in Saudi? I will say, no, I have been there many times. Now, because I'm not talking about one time that's finished, I'm talking about many times. And what I'm saying in the bracket, I'm not saying it, but I'm implying it in my life. I'm not saying it, but I mean it. This is like, these are the words in my head, But I'm saying, oh, I've been there many times in my life. And if I go again or not, that's besides the question. But my life is not over yet because I'm speaking to you right now and I'm using many times. Here, I had a great time in Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about one time, and that one time is finished. It's a very fine line difference. It's not a very big difference that you can feel like, oh, okay. You cannot feel. That's a problem with present perfect. You can't get that, oh, okay, feeling. So I hope that one question that most of you are thinking right now in your head is, then how can we use it better, right? So how can we not make the mistake of doing it? What do you think? I want to ask all of you in here, What do you think is going to be my answer if you ask me, how can we improve this and not make the above mistakes? So I want to know who knows me the most in here. What is my answer?
Please repeat your question.
Repeat my question. Khadija, did you hear my question?
No, please repeat your question.
Okay, I will repeat my question. So you see this red question at the bottom over here?
Yeah.
Okay. This is, I think that this is your question in your head, right? I think you all are thinking this. How can we improve this and not make the above mistakes? Is anyone thinking this right now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, exactly. So now I want you to tell me, what do you think is my response to this question?
I think you would suggest to listen the podcasts.
Yes, Rabia, you know me very well. Yes. Excellent. So listen, listen, listen. I cannot say this enough times. I cannot say this enough times. It is very, 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 very important.
Ma'am, it's getting difficult to because I can't understand this concept of when something has happened in the past and it's not happening yet. So we use past simple tense. And if something has happened in the past and is happening right now, then we use present perfect.
No,
right?
I didn't say that. The second definition, I didn't say is something happened and happening right now. No. When I say I have been to Saudi Arabia many times, I'm not in Saudi Arabia right now. It's not happening right now. Look at my definitions.
Here you mentioned, where is it? I have been teaching since 1999.
Yes.
So you have been teaching and you are teaching.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the ing, right? This is the ing, but it's still part of my life. I didn't say I said I have been teaching. I don't want you to confuse it with I am teaching. I am teaching is what I'm doing at this moment of speaking right now. I have been teaching is मैं अभी तक पढ़ा रही हूँ. Not मैं अभी पढ़ा रही हूँ. They're two different things, right? The tak idea is there, like अभी तक. You know what I'm saying? So when I say I have taught English, it's the same exact meaning. It's a different way of saying it. I have taught English since this time. This is still valid and it's still part of my life. This word over here that I have, experience, is really important. This word experience. This is a part of my life. And here, do you see these red words over here? In my life, experience, it's not over. Not over, like this. These are important. Now, give me 1 second. I'm just going to look at these questions in the chat box. So Rabia, you asked, yet is not used with present perfect only, right? Okay. So first I want to correct your question. So yet is not only used with present perfect only, right? This is your question?
Not. I asked yet is only used with present perfect.
Okay, same thing. Is only used with present perfect only, right? First of all, we don't want only 2 times.
Yes, that was a typo.
So yet is only used, but this is something that a lot of people would say. This is a very common thing that I would hear people speaking like this too. So yet is only used with present perfect. We'll cross out one only from here. And here you're asking me, but you're also asking me, right, is perfectly fine. But the answer for this is 99% with present perfect. Yes, there are exceptions. There are always exceptions to grammar rules, always. but I would say 99% you want to stick with present perfect. The time that we don't use it with present perfect is when we're responding to something. Have you cleaned your room? Not yet. You can respond to it. You don't have to make a whole present, but you're still present perfectly responding it, right? I cannot think of any specific exception right now, but I know 100% that there are exceptions for it. But this is why I'm giving you a really big number. 99% is with present perfect. Noreen asked, kindly explained been. Okay, so been is the past participle of to be. Okay, so be is I am, you are, he, she, it is, etc. And in the past, it is, was, and were. And then in the past participle form, we use it in present perfect and other things. We use it in passive voice as well. So we say, have you been? I have been. You, he has been, etc. Now, this is the formula of it, the format of it. Now, why do we use it? I'm going to give you two sentences, and I want someone to try to explain them to me. Can anyone tell me the difference between these two sentences?
The first one is like, my mom has been shopping. She is like shopping like since like long, and she is right now. Like she is continuously shopping, basically.
So where is my mom right now?
She might be at home, but she has been shopping.
Okay, but not might be. Where for sure is my mom right now? Is she shopping?
No.
No. So not shopping at the moment of speak. And what about my mom has gone shopping?
Yeah, she is shopping right now. She is in the market.
Absolutely, absolutely. She is excellent, Nasira. She is shopping right now. Very good. So now here, this one is a very, very, very good answer because this is a very commonly confused one. My mom has gone shopping. It means she left. She's still there. She's not back yet. My mom has been shopping. She's not shopping right now, but like Nasira said, she's been so many times. She probably loves shopping, blah, 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 right? So basically, we're talking about experience. It's a kind of an experience. She's been there, she's been here, I've been shopping, I've been hiking, I've been swimming. I'm just telling you all the kind of things that I have done. I'm not necessarily doing it right now, but I have done it. So that's when we use been, right? So if I ask you, how have you been? I'm saying, since the last time I saw you, how have you been, right? How were you and are you? That sounds really weird, right? How were you and are you? So we say, how have you been, right? Because this is really, it sounds really strange to say that. So we say, how have you been since the last time I saw you? Where have you been? So since the last time I saw you until now, where have you been? So it's more like an experience. It's more, it's not about the location at the moment. It's not about when, it's just about what have you been doing? My mom has been shopping. The what is important, not the when and where. Okay. Junaid said, thank you. You're most welcome, Junaid. Iram, what is the difference between I had my dinner, I have had my dinner? Great. Excellent. Let's put those down. And I'm going to get someone to volunteer. Any volunteers? What's the difference between these two? Nasida, you want to try again?
Yeah, like I have had my dinner, like I had it, and like I have had. Like it's like right now, like I have just like finished like eating. I'm confusing it maybe.
No, you're not. You're not. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I had my dinner. Like I'm done with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very good. This was a trick one. This was a very trick one. And my answer to the above would be this. I'm going to give you my answer. Both the above sentences have almost. Okay, so almost means not exactly, right? This, oops, I don't know. I can't talk and type at the same time, you know, like I can't multitask. Okay, so let's just, okay, almost the same meaning. Really no difference. Really no difference. Unless you say, I had my dinner at 8 p.m. Yeah, then you know, then this has to be in past simple because you're telling me when you had your dinner. But if you're just being vague in both ways, I have had my dinner, I had my dinner. The only little teeny tiny difference there is that, like Nasira said, probably just finished. Not for sure, right? But it kind of implies that probably just before speaking, I just had my dinner. So that's the key difference over here. Junaid, can we use a situation as an exact point sense in the present perfect tense? Could you explain this question to me, Junaid? You said, can we use a situation?
Yes, I want here to say that as a situation, I mean that something that was happened in the past, and
So tell me an example. I
have started learning English since I have failed my exam last year.
excellent, excellent. So this one is very, very, very good example. The answer is yes, you can do this, but after since, you don't put present perfect. You put the time. So because you're using the situation as a time, then you're going to say, I failed. You're not going to say, I have failed. And now it's perfect. Now it's great. I have started learning English since that event. What happened? I failed my exam last year. And you don't even have to say last year. Like you could even not say this and still it's okay. I have started learning English since I failed my exam. Absolutely. Another example of this could also be using situation after since, right? So this is just what Junaid's question was, which is very, very good. Could also be, just to give you another example, I have lived in Montreal since I got married, right? So that means before that, it tells you I did not live in Montreal. But since I got married, this has been the case. Absolutely, absolutely. Very, very good. Very good. Okay, I have no more questions in here. I have a thank you from Noreen. You're most welcome. This is a very good topic that honestly, every week we could discuss present perfect, every single week, and it would not be enough for you. Guaranteed. But if you do this, and I know that a lot of you are probably laughing right now because I always say this over and over again. I don't think anyone really does it. I don't think anyone listens to me. But you have to listen. And by listening, please, for God's sake, stop listening to YouTube videos that teach you how to speak English. Stop doing that. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're wasting your time. And if you're paying for your data for your YouTube, you're wasting your money. It's just a waste. Stop listening to that. You need to listen to people who are English-speaking people speak. And do you know how much stuff there is out there on YouTube, on Netflix, whatever mode that you use? There is a lot of stuff out there. And if you sit there and watch a half-hour video and watch this video and learn 30 new vocabulary words to pass your IELTS exam, that's really nonsense. Because your goal is to speak better. Even when I teach IELTS, I don't tell my students to go watch those IELTS videos. People make a lot of money off of those. And it's great. I'm happy for them. Alhamdulillah for them. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. And that's why you're going to keep watching those videos and you're going to keep helping them make money, but it's not really going to help you much. If you want to write, if you want to be a better writer, then you should watch those kind of videos. If you want to be a better writer, you are going to, when you speak Urdu or when you speak French and many other languages, we have respectful language and casual language, right? So tum and aap, right? We don't have that in English. We have tum and aap in many languages. In French, we also have that. In Urdu, we have that. But in English, that's how we differentiate in other languages, right? Tum kya kar rahe ho, aap kya kar rahe hain. The whole conjugation changes. Everything changes when you use tum and aap. In English, there's no tum and aap. So then how do we what are the two kinds of English? We have spoken English and we have written English. I know that most people in Pakistan, India are taught we have formal English and informal English. No, I don't like using those words. Start thinking this. We have spoken English and we have written English. And now since 2020 or whenever all this, I think since 2000, let's say, we have three kinds of English. We have spoken English, we have written English, and then we have social media English, right? So when we say LOL and we say, so I'm just we have spoken, written, you guys know those already. And then we have social media English, which is painful for English teachers, but that's exactly how it's supposed to be. That is exactly how it is, right? How are you, right? And it's fine. So that's how you do it, and that's perfectly fine. You're writing to your best friend. You don't need to spell it out, whatever, right? Just, I think at this level, you don't write that in a letter. This is just normal common sense. Spoken and written English is very, very different. By writing, I mean writing academic material, writing a letter to your supervisor, writing a letter for a new job, like those kind of written, we use different sort of vocabulary in there. Spoken English is the communicative way. You can watch TED Talks, you can listen to podcasts, the best is dialogues. You want to listen to two people having a conversation, two real people having a conversation, not people pretending to teach you IELTS. That's not the kind of people you want to listen to. You want to listen to actual people having actual conversations. If we were talking 20 years ago, it would be very difficult because where you are right now, you might not have people around you who are having English conversations or good English conversations. But now you have your internet in your hand, literally all the time. So you just need to go on there. You can come on the WhatsApp group and ask me, give me some recommendations. This is the kind of stuff I like. Tell me what kind of stuff you like. Do you like science fiction? Do you like romance? Do you like drama? Do you like religious? What kind of stuff do you like? I can recommend you some dialogue, some shows, some podcasts. When you start listening to them, you have to listen to small baby steps, guys. Baby steps. I don't want you to sit and listen to 1 hour. Aaj se main 1 ghanta English sunungi. That is nonsense. No one has that kind of time. You have to start with small increments. 5 minutes. I'm going to listen to 5 minutes of English every single day. That's doable, right? You can do that. But if you make big promises, like we all do, you know that, okay? Then nothing happens. Nothing happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to make small promises. 5 minutes a day, I'm going to listen to English. You don't understand? It's okay. Tomorrow, inshallah, you will have another 5 minutes to listen. You don't understand? It's okay. Inshallah, you will have many chances, but you have to start listening. Yes, Rabia.
I guess it is so. Can you please differentiate between however and but?
I didn't hear you from the beginning. Could you start speaking again?
Ma'am, I said I asked you 2 or 3 days ago that could you please differentiate between the usage of however and but?
Okay. However and but. And I kind of I'm going to actually just go on to the group, and because that was a good explanation that I found, but I'm going to tell you that one. First of all, while I'm looking for it, it's not a big difference. It's not a big difference.
Yes, that's why I'm really confused.
Yes, exactly.
Using this.
Give me just 1 second. Okay. So here what it says, I'm just going to write this down over here from here. But should never start a sentence, and it should not be followed by a comma. This is the difference. Otherwise, they're exactly the same. Okay? However and but are basically the same. However is a fancy but. That's it. That's no other difference. And but is lekin. But the word but should never start a sentence. Just like you should not start a sentence with and, right? You should not start a sentence with but. And it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, imagine I just tell you a sentence right now. I go, but I was late. Does this mean anything to you? You're going to say, what? Like, what are you talking about? Yes?
But we can't start a sentence with however, too.
Yes, exactly.
Like, how can we start a sentence with however?
Well, I mean, there has to be context before that, right? There has to be some sort of a context before both of those sentences. So you wouldn't. They're both conjunction words, right? So they're both connecting words. They're connecting idea words. So you cannot just start your entire story with one of those words. So they're meant to be connecting two words. However, so okay, let me give you an example. I think it'll be better if I give you an example. What did I do? Actually, let me find the example that was in here, actually, in the thing. Okay. This is a very boring example. I don't like science fiction books. But sometimes I will read an article on science fiction. I don't like science fiction books. However, my husband insists on watching. Oh, actually, you can, no, I'm going to get the same sentence. However, so the meaning of both these sentences is exactly the same. Both sentences have the exact same meaning. Just how I use however and but is different. I don't like science fiction books, but sometimes I will read an occasional article on sci-fi. You see over here, but is not starting the sentence. It's not followed by a comma. This is the correct use of but. If I'm speaking, the way I pause will determine it. I don't like science fiction books, but sometimes I will read an occasional article. After but, I'm not pausing, right? I'm pausing after science fiction books, but sometimes I will read an occasional article. But here, when I say I don't like science fiction books, done. However, pause, I will read an occasional article on sci-fi. The meaning is the same. The usage is different. The meaning is not different. The usage is different.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Sometimes these kind of things are easier for me to explain when I'm speaking, not as much by writing in a group chat, you know. And sometimes, guys, if I don't respond to you right away, I'm really, really sorry. The reason only is because I'm working sometimes, and you know, like our timings are so different. Like right now, you're done your day, and you know, maybe you'll go to sleep or eat or do something. You're finished for today, right? My day is just starting. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon here, and I'm just starting my day here. So you know, like sometimes we're just in very different time schedules, and even if I read your thing, I'm not at the right situation to answer right away or something. But I'm telling you this: don't ever hesitate. You go ahead. You keep on asking questions in the group. You keep on writing. Whenever I have time, I will come and I'll respond, and I'll come and I will answer your questions. Don't feel hesitant at all. It's just, but also don't think that, oh no, like, you know, she's not replying. No, don't ever take it personal. I'm just, sometimes I have like 10 things going on, but you guys are definitely on the top of my list to help. So this is why go ahead and write whatever you want to write, any question you want to ask. Some questions I like to answer in this workshop because, you know, it's live and we're there. I know I can ask you, do you understand? You can tell me yes or no, but in the group chat, it's, you know, I might lose you in the middle somewhere. So that's all. I'm so happy. What a beautiful turnout today. All of you people here, thank you so, so much for coming. And I hope this was helpful for you and I hope you learned. Can we again have the same topic next week? We won't have the same topic next week, but what I'm going to do is during the week, I'm going to ask you guys questions on this topic. And then next week, if you have any questions still, then absolutely, Rabia, yes. But first, during the week, I'm going to ask you questions exactly whatever we did today. I will create questions. All the challenges will be based on today's workshop, okay? And then I'll make them challenging. I'll make them difficult and tricky, okay? So I will try to trick you. So let me see, and then if you still have questions, 100% absolutely we'll do the workshop on whatever question you want to do on. So thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. You guys are a lovely, lovely group. Mashallah. Bless you all. And inshallah,
Thank you, ma'am.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Walaikum
assalam.
assalam.
Thank you.
You're welcome.